Howard, and today in our beginner series we are going to be doing Warrior One. And so there's many different modifications for this pose and figuring out ways to do it that's right for your body. So I'm going to go through a couple of those, but just know that there are so many different ways to do this. There isn't, and for all poses, there isn't this exact precise thing. There might be precise written in books, but there's always ways to modify it so that you're getting the same benefits, but in a way that works best for you. So, to get into this pose, we're going to start in our mountain pose at the top of our mat in a standing position. And then just like our high crescent lunge, we're going to step one of our feet to the back of the mat. So I'm stepping my left foot to the back. And from here, so in high crescent lunge, we have the heel off the floor and the toes are really doing the work in the back of the leg. For Warrior One, we are thinking about placing the foot completely down, and the foot is turned out at a 45-degree angle, so pointed towards the top corner of your mat if you're on a mat. And that front knee is bent. So we're just gonna break this down and what's happening in our feet. So, the typical stance in the front foot is that we are making sure our knee is over our ankle and that our knee is pushing outwards and not caving in. And that one's just placed there. That's solid. We're good to go there. This back foot, however, we have many different options depending on our flexibility and where we're at in our day. So, when I first started doing this pose, it was a big struggle to get this ankle down. And that's okay. I think it's important that we're thinking about just the angle of the foot and also the angle of our hips, which we'll talk more about. So if the ankle is not fully on the ground yet, that's okay. We don't need to judge it or put pressure on ourselves. And then we can also play with our balance and how this pose feels by, again, the placement of our foot. So bringing it closer to the front foot makes it easier to put the foot down. So even this is a nice low Warrior One pose right here. And then to make it a little more complicated, stepping further back and seeing the ankle might not go to the floor, but you might feel a better stretch in the hips, and that's fine. And then again, playing with bringing it closer to the center line will challenge your balance. Bringing it a little farther out gives you more surface area to feel a little bit more in control of the pose and still continue to gain the benefits of this pose. So, once you've found the correct placement for your feet and when that feels okay, we have our correct placement. Next, we're thinking about our hips. So, I like to picture two little headlights, like a car, on our hips, and we want to have them pointing forward like we're on this road. And so that's really the important part in this pose. So, if it helps to straighten that front leg, center out these hips, and then go back into that bent leg, go by all means do that. That really helps find that placement of the hips. This pose really challenges hip flexibility and also ankle flexibility and strength, so you're going to feel it in those areas in particular. And so then once we're here, feet are stable, hips feel aligned and stable. We're thinking about, again, pulling in our core, our belly button towards our spine to activate our core, and then inhaling the arms up. This is our Warrior One. And just breathing and smiling through this, feeling a whole opening in our body and enjoying that moment. And that is Warrior One. So it's similar to a high crescent lunge, but just a little bit different. A little bit of a twist there. So try out that pose. Give it a shot. See how it goes. It takes some time to get the pose to where you want it to be and where it feels good and correct, and that you're like, yes, I can just get into this pose naturally. It'll take some time to do that. And that's okay. Practice it throughout this week and see how this pose changes for you. And I will be back again next week with a new pose, but you can always find me throughout the week on Instagram at Yoga with Sarah Ford. And I have some online classes that I offer, which will be in the description below. And I'll see you again next week. Have a lovely week.